pyramids, it should be no problem to rebuild our brains. You know what I'm saying? And if we really had women like Cleopatra, it should be no problem unlocking those Cleopatras in the modern day around the way girls. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Tupac is about. It's about being that spark to start the fire again. You know what I'm saying? I want to just bring Renaissance back for black people. I just want everything to be, you know what I'm saying, beautiful black again.
Revolutionary greetings. It's Haki Kweli Shakur, Cedar Gabriel Prosser, out here on this nice day, ready to rock into this topic I want to touch on real fast. The subject I chose to touch on today is our internal gender wars and our internal overall division. This is the subject that I want to touch on today. Which is one term and one term only. Subjugation. Are we more subjugated today than our yesterdays? And I would have to say yes. Why? Because we're subjugated by state lines, hoods, communities, city lines, sets, blocks, projects, roads, gates, yards. I mean, anything you can name, we have been totally subjugated from each other, man. It's one quote that I want to really touch on that the great Tupac Shakur said in one of his songs, man, which is reigning more potent and relevant today, is we went from brothers and sisters to niggas and bitches. What is he saying there? He's saying that we have fallen collectively as a people, as a race, and we just are totally subjugated, basically, as a people, man, because we don't went from, this is what I'm getting from it. You might get your own terminology from that quote, but this is what I get from the quote. I get from the quote that we went from brothers and sisters to niggas and bitches for the simple fact we're a colonized people, man. And in these colonized periods in the Empire of North America, when we were brothers and sisters, we had umoja, which is unity in Swahili. We were more united when we was going through our most horrific tyranny ever imposed on a people, which is the Ma'afa, the Holocaust, and the preceding period after that, which is your Jim Crow period, which we had laws, systems, institutions of segregation and just complete all-out warfare on the new African people of the United States of America, man. We were united at our most, I have to say, our most pivotal, tyrannical period in the United States of America, man. And what we have to get through that, unity, when we were brothers and sisters. Look at us now. What are we? And I'm not saying this for everybody. I'm just saying because those terms could be mental, not necessarily physical, but 9 out of 10 when it's physical, you know what I mean, it derives from the mental. So some of us are niggas and some of us are bitches at this pivotal point in our existence in North America as a nation, man, and as a colonized colony in the Empire of America, man, because the simple fact we're separated more than ever, man. And this all stems from Willie Lynchism. You see what I'm saying? Like, I seen the DVD on the cat who supposed to so-called wrote the Willie Lynch letter, because The Willie Lynch person itself doesn't exist. He never was a real person. This was written by a person that looked like me and looked like you to get across a psychological point in the minds of our people of the system of European supremacy and white supremacy and what has it done to our people, man. You see what I'm saying? So he wrote that letter. And when he wrote that letter was just a tactic that he wrote to show our people that we must stand united and never be divided, man. Because this is what they put in place to divide you. Even though what he specifically saying in the letter is, if we don't get our stuff together, we're going to be controlled by that system forever, man. And we'll never gain liberation or freedom because we'll still be against each other and ununited. You see what I'm saying? We'll be more united. We'll be more ununited than ever, which what we're in right now in the millennia, in the 2000s. We're more divided than ever. And that letter is still showing and proving psychologically we are, and physically we are divided by Willie Lynchism, man. You see what I'm saying? And it even goes back further than that. I could take you back to the origin of subjugation. We can go back to ancient Kemet, and we can go back to all, and not just ancient Kemet, we can go back to all the matriarchal societies in Africa, which had the matrilineal line in place to where our women were more incorporated or either leading our societies, our clans, and our tribes back then, man. You see what I'm saying? And when they were leading these societies, man, it was more peaceful. Yeah, we had our little internal differences back then also, but we kept it more on a mutual respect level because it was all about, okay, this is my territory, this is your territory, this is my territory, respect it. You know what I mean? It wasn't really too much of no clashing or, you know, we trying to kill each other and take each other's heads off in antiquity times and ancient times. Yeah, we had our little differences because some cats, and I'm going to put it to you like some societies are going to have disagreements. And 9 out of 10 sometimes, yeah, it led to warfare. You know what I mean? But we didn't let that destroy us. You see what I'm saying? And divide us more and more and more. The problem is when the males of these societies in ancient times, in ancient antiquity of Africa, started getting jealous and started wanting that power and started letting that patriarchal male egoism go to their mind and consume their higher self and let their lower self come over and take over their higher self. So they just started looking at our women as not, you know, they shouldn't be in that spot. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say we'll start looking at our women as enemy, but they was envy and jealous of the power of the mama, the woman, the black woman, the mother of civilization. Jealousy and envy played a part in that, man. You see what I'm saying? So this is what happened. When the males started creating their priesthoods that was male, you know, dominated, like you see in religious segments you see today and religious organizations you see today, when they started building these priesthoods and started incorporating these political structures in these societies, man, they knew that if they wanted to be the main heads of these societies, that they had to remove the female. And when they removed the female, that was the biggest mistake and the biggest, how can I put it? That's the biggest, mistake that they ever made, man. Because it cost our societies, man. When we remove the women, we don't understand. When we remove our women, that is taken away from a peaceful and more sacred and more universal power. You know what I mean? Dealing with nature, dealing with civilizations, and just, you know, living in our well-being and indigenous state, man. You can't remove the women. You see what I'm saying? You can't move the women out of her divine throne, man. and her divine positions in societies and leadership. When you do that, you're causing chaos. You know what I mean? Especially with African people, because we need to be united. And it starts with the African male and the female being together and united in strong fold. You know what I mean? So when that happened, and when you seen all these foreign societies start invading our motherland, the first thing they attacked was the woman, because her guards was down, because she was subjugated, while the male was trying to gain all his power and letting his ego go to his brain. You see what I'm saying? And when these foreign invaders invade the land, they knew the first thing to do was attack the women. This is one of the main strategic tactics in societies, man. You must attack the women when their guards down, and if you want to conquer society, you conquer the women. You see what I'm saying? So when he made that, when our great African kings and African leaders made that mistake of moving the women out of the leadership and out of her divine throne of matriarchy in our societies, man, this is what brought chaos into our societies, man, and brought in subjugation and division. You know what I mean? And all this trickled all the way through slavery, man. So every foreign entity that wanted to conquer black people, new African people, and African people globally, nationally, you know what I mean, they knew that we wasn't unified. They knew. So the first thing they was attacked was the woman. You see what I'm saying? Now, as we go through the Ma'afa and the slavery, we began being more subjugated, more on a racial and ethnic groups and race period. As a people, we started being more subjugated in the Ma'afa, because the European was separating us even more. You know what I mean? By dividing us up into cliques. You know what I mean? And when we got on the plantations, it got worse, because they started dividing us even more, because they started taking, you know, the house slaves and putting them in the house, and leaving the more dark-skinned slaves in the field, and had the more lighter shades of our people in the house. So that started division. And then you have them in the house and we're in the field being envious of each other. You see what I'm saying? That's more subjugation and division right there. So, and this is what makes it even ironic, because when they got us males in the fields and the plantations, they set up these systems called gangs. This is where your first origin of gangs come from. The term gang, period. They divided the weaker slaves and the lazier slaves in different gangs and cliques in different sections of the gangs. They had 3 sections of the gangs. They had the most prosperous worker, the hardest worker, they had the middle worker, and they had the laziest worker on the bottom. And they were called gangs, slave gangs. You know what I mean? So this is becoming a whole big bubble, a whole big systematic subjugated systems that's being used and applied on our people, man. And you look at us today in the United States of America, just look around, man. They got you bunched up in different hoods, you know what I mean? We're in different hoods where we started to create families, neighborhood families, and all this type of stuff. And I mean, it ain't even about that, because we're divided on every aspect of society right now, whether it's from the higher class to the middle class to the lower class. New African people in America are subjugated, period. Money has been the major problem in that area also. You see what I'm saying? But when I'm dealing with this lower class and middle class, because this is where the unity is going to come from, we are more divided than ever and more subjugated as ever, man, because we even got this going on in households where your wife or the mother of your children are divided from the fathers and the husbands of the household, and we having all these kids. You see what I'm saying? But the families are being split up by systems, welfare, child support, just plain old, just, you know, a subjugated, colonized mind state, man. He got us against each other right now. This is what the system of European supremacy got us. It's got us against each other. We're more ununified than ever. You see what I'm saying? And all he did was box us up in neighborhoods, in the inner cities, and telling you that's your enemy. You see what I'm saying? And as time grow, as we grew as a people in the hills of North America, we was put in projects, forced in neighborhoods, forced into communities, and we started repping these communities, you know, the set life, street organization, gangs. I mean, and I'm not even going to try to put the whole blame on them because they're trying to survive. But as a people, period, our communities are subjugated, man. Because you can't even go to a cat neighborhood over there because you from there. She can't go over there because she's from there. You see what I'm saying? When it shouldn't be like that. When we should be able to go all over the inner city and show love to each other. And it doesn't have to be about no street sign, no street gang, where you from, who are you, you know what I mean? Just off the respect of our struggle, of our ancestors in this country, we're supposed to be able to go to any part of these inner cities and gather and unify and build. You see what I'm saying? We got to get rid of this subjugation tip, man. We're more subjugated than ever, man. You know what I mean? We all out in an all-out flat war against ourselves, and it's gender wars, and it's overall community wars, man. And this is what's keeping us at a major decade standstill. You know what I mean? We still trying to recuperate from the wars of this imperialist government that got us in these conditions that we're living in right now, man, from the 1980s. So we're still trying to recover, but the only way we're going to recover out of any of these conditions, period, we must come together on a common ground and align ourselves under umoja, Swahili for unity, and cut this madness out, man. We got to return to being brothers and sisters, man, and stop being lesser of niggas and bitches, man, because we're not going to get nowhere. We're always going, man, I just ask you just one question. Do you want your kids to grow up in a society like that? This is for the kids, man, because I look at it like this, like, I done lived through the periods of some of our worstest periods in the hills of North America, man, and inner city communities across the United States of America, including the community I live in right now. You see what I'm saying? So the question, the million-dollar question, do you want your kids to live in societies and communities that you're living in right now? If not, man, it's time to stand up and destroy subjugation and gender wars, man. Right now, man, we got to get rid of the Willie Lynch, man. And I'm going to sign off right here. Haki Kweli Shakur. See the Gabriel Prosper. Let's get free.